We are just under 4,000 global members, which is insane to see. Now you have to think about making sure money is coming in, making sure you have partners and sponsors that believe in your vision.
How are marketers feeling in the community about AI, in some cases encroaching on their job?
Traffic is down by 34% because of the AI little snippet that shows up.
Do you have a wish list for either the community or for podcast guests? What do you think is maybe an unorthodox form of marketing or new age that people aren't doing that they should be doing in today's day and age?
We're now marketing to marketers, essentially. We're no longer marketing to the CISO and their team.
Yeah.
So the pressure is on.
Well, welcome to another episode on the CyberWise podcast of our new series, Off Script. We have a very special guest and a good friend of mine, Maria Velasquez, with the Cybersecurity Marketing Society, head of growth, correct?
Yeah.
And you've had a pretty robust marketing career of your own. It's not like you just woke up one day and you built out this group as a co-founder with Gianna, but RSA is happening behind us right now. And it's crazy on the streets, right? Like it's busy. I feel like it's louder this year. I was like getting disoriented just walking through all of the booths, but I want to make sure we do a proper introduction from Maria today. So I'll let you give us a little bit more of your background.
Thank you. All right. Well, yeah, like you said, been in cybersecurity marketing for just under a decade, but B2B tech, SaaS for about 15 years. Always sort of on the operations side, demand gen, growth marketing. That's where I found my passion and my sweet side. I definitely geek out on the infrastructure and the back end, and the backbone is what I call it of the marketing team, marketing ops. And yeah, 5 years ago, Gianna, my partner, and I started the Cybersecurity Marketing Society, a peer group community of marketing professionals that work in cybersecurity. Fast forward 5 years now, we're both doing this full time, and we've since quit our full-time jobs. Definitely that American dream of a passion project turning career, which we're super excited to be doing this and just giving back to the community. We are just under 4,000 global members, which is huge. Insane to see. When we first started, we were just cold DMing people on LinkedIn and just saying, hey, we're starting this. We kind of need it. Everybody else has a community. Why can't we come together and help each other out? And yeah, to look back at the journey, it's been really crazy, but we're definitely blessed.
And I would say you guys are not lucky. You're fortunate. You're not lucky because you created your own fate. I see you guys showing up consistently, right? You guys are partnering with the right groups. There's all these different micro groups, even like, Sober and Cyber, all of these other groups I followed, and then boom, you guys start building this audience. And I mean, for those of you who haven't come to the website, checked you guys out, I'd be surprised if they haven't heard about you to some extent. But you go on the site and you see that you guys aren't just there to do events. Yeah. It's about careers. It's about providing resources, right? Which of those, are you really focused on? Is it kind of across all of those facets of the group and society today?
It is. I mean, learning is a big part of it, where we've been thinking about, rolling out courses, which is in the plans right now. But we've wanted to do those since day one. But obviously, we were both working full time while also building this. But now that I'm also on board, the focus is more training opportunities and workshops for the members, meeting more of the members in person and doing regional meetups. Just in April now, we did New York City, Boston, and Atlanta, which is really cool. And so we'll try to cover other parts of the country. Last year, we did our first European meetups, both in Paris and London, which was really cool.
That's pretty sweet, Bill. Right off a trip to London.
Yes, exactly. InfoSec Europe. And then one of our members who's HQ'd in Paris was like, I'd like to do one. So Gianna flew out and did that. So that's really, really cool. And I think, just impacting careers as much as we can and helping marketers that are just starting, whether just starting in their career as a marketer or just starting in cybersecurity as a new industry. We want to be there for those people because we were those people not long ago, and we wish we had that.
Yeah. And you have a very data-driven background, like you had mentioned, right?
Yes.
But now it's, you still have that, feather in your cap, but then there's the community building you guys are doing. Yeah. Right? If you didn't have that base, I don't know if you could fully appreciate what some of the marketers have to go through, but seeing that you had that background, maybe you could talk a little bit about what you did previously, where you built up more of like a technical knowledge on the demand gen side. Totally.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have some battle scars for sure. And I bring those to the forefront, and I'm very open about it. And I'll talk about my experience. I'll shout my mistakes to the world so others don't make them. And yeah, just try to give the best advice. Most of the time I start with, make sure you focus on the data first, right? So your first 90 days should be roll up your sleeves and just open up that tech stack and figure out what's going on before you roll out or launch any campaigns. So why would you go out externally and spend a lot of money not knowing what it's going to turn into, 6 months down the road in your reports and your data. So that's one. And then making friends with the sales team as early as possible.
Yeah,
schmoozing.
The what have you done for me lately team sometimes.
Yes. But sometimes you get lucky. Like most recently at NetSpy, I had an amazing relationship with the head of biz dev, even the CRO, who was amazing. And when you get lucky like that and you find a sales team that truly believes in the power of marketing and you partner with them, that's great. If not, find a few champions. All you need is 1 or 2 BDRs that found amazing success in booking meetings with your marketing campaign. And they'll start talking to their peers on the SDR team or even throughout the AEs. And they'll start coming to you for help, right? Oh, hey, I'm focusing on this new vertical. What can you do? Do you have any content? Can you help me with some swipe copy? You got to do a little bit of the legwork in the beginning, and then you establish that trust. And then now you're the go-to expert for their pipeline generation, essentially.
Yeah, and I think the sales team appreciates when they feel like their voice is heard through the marketing. I mean, they're out on the front lines in many cases. They're testing out new messaging, new positioning. Something works, and in some cases, it kind of gets just lost in the ether, and it's in their sales deck that's hidden on their computer, but it doesn't get back to marketing. So are you guys able to kind of facilitate what your marketers in your community are even seeing on the sales side of things and bringing in some of that intel as well to the community?
Yeah, we have virtual meetups every month for all kinds of things marketing. So we have like a content marketing monthly, a marketing ops monthly, a funnel and pipeline benchmarks call that happens every month, and it's led by the CMO Charles Gold and his head of demand gen Arpine, and they're amazing. And they basically come together and just share literally conversion rate data in your pipeline and give each other advice and insights on, okay, you think that there's a leaky bucket at this particular stage, here's why, or here's how you can optimize that win rate by doing just this one thing or this experiment with the sales team. So there is definitely a lot of that. And the CMOs in our group really like that. I think it's a very CMO focused type content, and to have a group of other CMOs in the same industry coming together and just sharing that knowledge is gold. You can't find that with a Google search or an AI prompt.
No. I mean, you have to be careful what you read nowadays. Was it AI generated?
Yeah.
Was it human generated? And you guys are creating a lot of the content, which we appreciate, which is the video content, right? How has that journey been, going from maybe more traditional static over to video content?
Yeah, we rely a lot on our podcast. We have a podcast called Breaking Through in Cybersecurity Marketing. We started that about 3 years ago, thanks to Chris Cochran and Ron Eddings and Hacker Valley. They're the ones who pushed us, and they were like, you girls have a really cool dynamic. Yeah. You should start a podcast. And we're like, I don't know.
A little imposter syndrome in the beginning, maybe.
Right,
yeah.
Right. And they told us what mics to buy. Yeah. They set us up. They were actually producing us for a good few years.
Okay. In
the beginning, we learned a lot from them. And so, yeah, we're using the footage from that to create content for LinkedIn. And it's easy, right? You're already recording your podcast. Just make sure you're recording video and have somebody that can do snippet. That doesn't have to be fancy, right?
Not overproduce unless it's
exactly.
like enterprise must follow brand guidelines, right? But yeah, just get something out there.
Exactly. And we're small and we don't care. We have fun. We experiment. If it's a flop, we'll just do something else next time. That's the beauty of just, doing your own thing and not being beholden to,
That's the refreshing part. I want to kind of go back to what you had mentioned. I saw on your LinkedIn that you left traditional employment back in December to go full-time with the society now. Sometimes that's like you leave one job thinking you're getting a new job when really it's like 2 new jobs because of all the effort. And, we gave this, podcast series the off-script title because it may seem easy, like, oh, look at Maria making moves. Now she's running a society. But talk about, like, maybe some of the wins and then the challenges, like just the draining amount of energy that goes into building something like that sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, definitely the flexibility, the feeling of entrepreneurship, right? It's I don't know, the why and the mission is different. You know, when you wake up and clock in at 9 a.m. and most of the time it isn't 9 a.m. Most of the time you're on Slack at 7 a.m. because there's something, or you're on Slack until 9 p.m. because you have a newsletter that needs to go out the next day. So it's definitely a much different feeling. Obviously, I'm having a lot of fun, super happy I'm doing this. But you're right, it is not easy. Now you have to think about making sure money is coming in, making sure you have partners and sponsors that believe in your vision and are willing to support the community. As you know, we don't charge member dues, and we were talking about that just before we started recording. It is free to become a member. All you have to do is be a full-time marketer at a cybersecurity company. So operationally, we don't rely on member dues. We rely on partners and sponsors, and we rely on our annual conference. So it's the business growth aspect of, and the unknowns and the risks, and making sure that we have enough to keep going and continue to give back. But then also, we're now marketing to marketers, essentially. We're no longer marketing to the CISO and their team. Yeah. So the pressure is on. We need to, be on point, even though our community is amazing and they're forgiving and they love what we do, no matter how bad or good the quality is. But we put that pressure on ourselves because we want it to always be top notch, especially the annual conference. Yeah. So those are some of the things. But I'm loving it. I love the flexibility. I have 2 kids. Just being able to do things in my own time. And I think the creative freedom, too, is really big. This is like part of the off-script part, right? When you're working for a company, you're beholden to, like the corporate stuff. But then if you're part of a team, and you have an idea, you kind of have to get buy-in from the entire team. And then once you get buy-in from the entire team, you have to run it by everybody else. Yeah. And by the time you're done that, the idea is stale. It's like,
you're exhausted by that point. You're like, I got approval, and you're just flatlining.
It's done. I'm 84 now and ready to retire. So being able to move fast and try crazy things, and why not? I love that.
Yeah, now it's a matter of okay, let's not let too many ideas flood your brain, because you could actually act on those. Now you're just spinning a bunch of plates, right? And I always tell everyone, I'm like, great strategists, the leaders of companies, are pretty darn good at prioritizing. Yeah. So it's almost like you see all these wildfires, and you're like, okay, which one should we put out first? Focus on the one with the most wind gust and that is in the high, risk area. But a lot of it's putting out fires too. And that, even for us, right? Nothing's perfect. We're trying to build 3 agencies in one. If you think of it, it's a production. You have the strategy component where people are you're almost like a VCMO. And then distribution, which is a game where we're X, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, advertising. I'm like, okay, this is a lot. And we're not a funded agency. Right. But you have to invest in it as if you were at the same time too. So then, like you said, you got to make sure that the top lines create enough room for the bottom line and all that fun stuff. And that's where sometimes I find myself falling out of the creative zone at times, when I'm just P&L, sales, and it kind of just, it feels different, right? I'm I just want to get back into my creative zone. Yeah. Right? Yeah. I don't know if you struggle with that from time to time too, separating the business side of it and the creative zone and shifting gears. Totally. But I think we have an outlet for the creativity, which is Cyber Marketing Con. Right? We could hold off and do the business stuff all year, but then come Cyber Marketing Con, we go crazy, we have fun, we do all kinds of amazing things. And I think it fuels us when we meet the community in person, and we get all these hugs and, oh my God, great to see you, or I've been following you for finally nice to meet you in person. That fuels that a little bit of passion back. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys grow it and monetize it. I think if anything, you guys are erring on the side of being overly generous, having this community that you are just giving so much value to, not even trying to overly monetize it today. But if I'm a CMO at a couple $100 million company or enterprise level company, I'm looking at the Cybersecurity Marketing Society, the resources, the events, as a profit center. I'm going, okay. And I had recently talked to a prospect who was spending $4 million a year on LinkedIn ads, and they were all static ads. And I was like, do you want to try video? They cut 90% of the budget out and they're getting better results, but they're doing video now. That I could share with someone if I'm at the event, and then they go back to their board and they save a ton of money. Exactly. Investors are happy. So I feel like it could pay for itself for a lifetime at just one event. Yeah. Right? Absolutely. Yeah. And that's exactly what's happening already. In fact, we're seeing, this is a really cool idea, and I tell every CMO,
Last year, and even in the year prior to that, we had CMOs bring their entire marketing team to Cyber Marketing Con as their marketing offsite.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
So then they'll look at the agenda, they'll strategize, divide and conquer. You go to this session, I go to this one. And at the end of the conference, they come together for half a day, and that's their offsite. They strategize for the year. And it's perfect timing because the conference is in December. And they come out of that not only, satisfied to be part of an event and have fun, community, but then also they learned a lot of things, and you came out of that with a brand new strategy for the year.
Yeah.
So that's always really, really cool to see.
That's cool. Yeah, the events you guys put on, I see what goes into it. I see like Gianna has like a box full of merch. You guys are getting everything shipped. It's nothing short of crazy. It's like organized chaos. No matter how well planned you are.
Yeah.
I feel like at the end of one of the events, you guys have to take off like a few days of work, right? Take a vacation, reset, or is it just back at it?
Not
right
really.
away?
Not really. We do a postmortem right after, since things are still fresh.
Yeah.
Obviously, there is the post-event email and getting all the video files from the AV company and closing off the hotel bill and
Yeah.
all the back end stuff.
Yeah.
Last year, however, I did. I left the conference and went to Peru for 2 weeks.
Oh, beautiful. Was that like an adventurous or more of like a beach resort kind of trip? You just relax, let your hair down?
Both. We have
Okay.
family there, so we spent Christmas there, and it was really cool to experience Christmas in South America, and got to spend a lot of time with family, and explore where the kids got to see where their dad is from, where he went to school.
That's
And
cool.
it was really good to disconnect. But of course, came back from that, and then there's still a lot of post-event stuff that needs to be done, right?
Yeah.
Sponsors that want their lead lists, and they want their recording of their session, and we want to try to put together as much content post-event as possible to keep the engagement going and the excitement going beyond just the conference days.
Yeah, totally. Well, to kind of shift gears a little bit because of all of the recent trends and developments with AI in general, I have to imagine the community. You probably have a Slack channel about AI alone, right? How are marketers feeling in the community about AI? In some cases, encroaching on their job, maybe helping them scale out what they do. Is it a kind of love-hate dynamic right now, or where's the sentiment at?
Yeah, I don't think there's anxiety about people losing their job to AI. I think cybersecurity marketers are very unique, and I don't know if we'll ever lose our jobs to AI. But I think there's definitely anxiety in content creation using AI, and how that could be seen by the cybersecurity practitioner community, and losing trust. And as it is, it's already an intimidating audience, an intimidating market to be in. So you have to be extra careful what you put out on your homepage or in your email or in your next webinar.
Yeah.
So there's definitely probably a little bit of hesitation on how much to use AI for content creation. But I definitely see a lot of potential in using AI internally for operational excellence and efficiencies and things like that. So there's hope there.
Yeah. We actually just had a guest prior, our client Snowfire AI. The gentleman, Greg Janung, has a deep cybersecurity background. He's been coming at RSA for 22 years. But now he has an AI platform that allows you, if there's 700 integrations, where you could get all of your tools as a CEO talking to one another. So you could have QuickBooks talking to Salesforce, HubSpot, LinkedIn. You could query it. You could create automatic prompts, and you have this bird's eye view of being able to see everything that's happening.
Yeah.
So we're doing our best to leverage it so I could kind of buy some of my time back.
There you go.
And not go to each department head every time I'm wondering what's happening, and just first use the tool and let the team keep doing their work. But it's interesting because him and I were talking, and he was like, I do not want to take a traditional approach to marketing. And so everyone's always like, hey, stop taking traditional approach, run a new playbook. What do you think is maybe an unorthodox form of marketing or new age that people aren't doing that they should be doing in today's day and age?
Gosh. I think the biggest struggle for a lot of marketing teams is not necessarily to know what they should be doing, is to get internal buy-in to do what they want to do. And what they already know is out there and it works.
Where they're convicted.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. But there's definitely a lot of really cool activations here at RSA this week, and I love that there is definitely more of an embrace to the consumer side of advertising tactics, right?
Yeah.
There's ads in the Uber and the Lyft apps. Obviously, the out of home stuff that's going on, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Geofencing. So I'm seeing a lot more marketers embrace the consumer and the B2C side and taking a page out of that book, because it definitely works.
Absolutely. Yeah. And for us, it's obviously we found our niche in video, and we're like, we hope people continue to embrace it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm usually blown away when people have reached such a high level of success, but they haven't done any video. And, sometimes they hit a ceiling, and I'm like, it may seem like consumer type of marketing to your point, but it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
It should be B2B just as much as like saying like, hey, consumer marketing should only exist in B2C or community,
Right.
Based marketing.
Right.
No way.
Yeah.
It should be B2B as well.
Yeah, totally.
Right.
I mean, I didn't mention video because that's a given.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that video works. I think the biggest challenge is where to start and how to start. And there is always this like, they're reluctant to get into video because they don't have the right equipment and they don't do production. And when you can just start with your iPhone, right? And just get a good mic. Audio is big, even if, visual is okay in the beginning. And then get fancy as you go, right? And try things out. So I always say video is big, and I'd rather invest in video content than in a white paper or an ebook or any of that. Anyway, nobody fills out forms anyway for white papers and ebooks, so might as well just do video and share it with the world.
Yeah, I think I might have just seen a thumbs up from Eric over there. In agreement. What's crazy too is like we'll have these prolific writers come on the podcast. We had Anthony Freed from Halcyon a little earlier. He writes over 1,000 blogs a year. He's like, every blog I write now is getting shorter and shorter. People are finishing a 400-word blog. He's like, but I used to write 3,000-word blogs. And I was like, hey, I looked at your LinkedIn and your top 3 featured posts are all videos, because we shoot video of even their writer talking about security, because he has technical base. But I think they could supplement one another, right? There's a time when you want to read. Like I still like to get into X and I'll read through it. And then there's a time and a place for video. So they could complement one another. I think for us, it's more of a challenge of how do we find marketing overspend or waste and then leverage that to insert our solution. I don't want to have to get someone to go create a new budget for me, especially if they're a bigger company. I'm like, do you really need to spend $4 million on Google ads, right? Or can you take a small percentage of that, invest it in, whether it's community building or whether it's in content marketing, video marketing. But that's kind of the angle that we've taken. And maybe that's some advice as you guys go more upstream, even to working with larger enterprises, helping out CMOs. They spend money on all kind of fandango stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, where are they overspending? How could we advise them into a more strategic approach?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, just start with video and then repurpose it into a million different things.
Waterfall is way easier. Like out of this alone, we're going to get a trailer. Hopefully it's really cool. Like cool as a Diary of a CEO.
Yeah.
Get the full pod and you get like 12 clips.
Exactly.
And if you do it well, like your guest is pretty much like compelled to want to share it with their audience, right? Yeah. And that's where the production value could come in. Now we just have to figure out how to not always set up cameras and do more remote, which you and Gianna do most of yours remote, right?
Yeah, we're
How's
fully
that
remote.
been so far?
Yeah, we're fully remote. In fact, when we started the society, we had never met until a year after, because we started it right at the height of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And we launched it, worked on it for the entire year, and then we had Cyber Marketing Con virtually that first year, all virtual event. And then we got together after that and had some celebratory drinks because it was really good. We had like over 200 people show up, which we were so surprised. Like, oh, wow, okay, this is the thing.
They were begging for the community,
yeah, this
right?
is the thing. Okay, let's keep doing this and see where it goes. So yeah, we're doing this all remote. We have fancy mics like this, but that's about it. We're just trying to do our best. I think that we could do more on LinkedIn as thought leaders, to do more thought leadership posts. But we're, like you said, we're in the thick of the operations and the business growth and all of that. And I think as soon as we're in a good place, we're going to go back to building brand and connecting with the community more and doing more on LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn. It's
a great place to start.
For
like, where else are you going to be able to get firmographic, technographic targeting like you could? Some people will say, well, I don't really go on LinkedIn all that much, but when I do, I'm like in the stories. I'm like, yeah, those little, vertical videos. And if you do it right, like after we shoot this one, we should be able to get a 9:16 for IG. You could do it on TikTok if you want, if you're into that. You're doing it on LinkedIn stories, and then you do a 16:9 for YouTube, right? And so you have all these different formats that you can do, even if you're doing remote recording.
Exactly.
Which I told the team, I was like, I like traveling, but not every week.
No.
And this year alone, we've been traveling like madmen. So I feel you on the like post event, post this and that, like 12 hard cases, schlepping them around New York in January. That was a lot of work.
Oh yeah.
Right. So
absolutely.
hopefully there's more remote stuff that happens.
Yes, totally. That's the unfancy part of entrepreneurship and event planning and all of that. You know, once you have your event set up and you look great and you have a nice outfit and you're having drinks and a good time with your attendees, it's amazing.
Yeah.
But before the event and after the event,
you know what it feels like? It's like
exhausting.
going on travel with kids.
Yes.
Until you're on the beach feet in the sand with the cocktail, you're just like, this is madness.
Yes.
The iPad died. I forgot to charge it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It just gets crazy.
Oh yeah. Even with feet in the sand, you'll get the, Mom, come build a sandcastle.
Oh yeah. And I mean, our partners have to be as supportive as like they can be, right? Because it's nothing shy of chaos. I'm like, yeah, I know today's my drop off day for school, but can you do it? Because I had a meeting that popped up on my calendar.
Oh yeah.
Type of
yes,
stuff.
absolutely. Shout out to my husband. He was definitely the biggest champion when we started this. And
that's awesome.
when we did start this, I was a new mom.
You know how to time it, don't you?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh boy.
So he was definitely there for us along the way, juggling the two things, and even now, right? So taking the risk to do this entrepreneurship thing, and just said, you keep your full-time job in insurance. I'm gonna go do this crazy thing for a little bit. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah,
so,
and we did the same thing. My wife worked for the University of Davis, right? So you had pension, all that fun stuff. She didn't retire till a couple months ago, and now post-retirement, she's just doing her social media, which is a big just because that's a really important thing.
For sure.
So she was here for the first day or two, and I'm like watching my IG start to like videos popping up. Like, finally, we have this stuff. I was like, we can't be the cobbler whose kid doesn't have shoes. I was like, we need to make sure that we're putting content out as much as we're telling clients they need to do the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to be the example.
Yeah, you can't be like the big personal trainer or the, chef that doesn't cook his own food. So we're trying our best to do that.
That's
right now.
Well, most chefs don't cook their own food. Did you know that?
They can't stand it, or what?
No, they go home. They don't want to cook because they're in the kitchen all day.
Fast food.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So if you think you're marrying a chef, you're going to eat well. It's actually not the case.
That's not it, right? Oh my gosh, that's great. That's great. So like a bit of a rapid fire, right? Like the polarizing questions we're getting, like on a first call, I'm like, I think I have an answer. I was like, but I bet if you bounce some of these off of your community, we'd probably get more of a consensus, right? So we have people calling in and saying, is SEO dead?
Yeah.
The way everything's changing. In your opinion, you know how agencies exist solely for the sake of SEO?
Right.
Is that going to continue to be a trend? Is SEO dying off in some ways? Do people have to rethink about it?
No, I don't think so. I think you just need to adjust and understand how AI is going to impact your ranking and your website traffic. We're seeing that, right? I think I saw a stat not long ago. Traffic is down by 34% because of the AI little snippet that shows up, and I got all my answers there. I like it when I'm looking for something and I don't need to go through websites. Yeah. But there's other ways to build your brand so that you can still convince that person that's searching to still click on your website to understand what's your take on whatever question they're looking for, right? Or whatever answer they're looking for. And building brand is a nice channel mix, a nice diverse library of different types of content, video, podcast, events, in person, shaking hands. People just need to know your name and they'll trust your website for possibly a better answer than what AI provided them. So I think, and maybe this is a fad and maybe this is staying, but either way, just be agile and flexible enough and be okay with changes and embracing the unknowns. But I think also like just bringing it back to internally, sometimes it's just hard to explain that to leadership internally who aren't necessarily at the forefront of the marketing and the content creation and SEO, don't understand those things, but they heard something or the board said, somebody on the board said, oh, panic, let's rethink SEO. And now, they're kind of like translating that panic over to the marketing team. So it's all about communicating internally the value of what you're doing, but then also not panicking yourself.
And that's why we're trying not to do much fear-based marketing to any extent. Like you could say SEO is changing. You could say Google Ads isn't working the way it used to. You need to rethink it. We dare to say static content is dead because it's not. video's catching up to it and exceeding it in some ways, but it's not dead. Those are just such polarizing things. And it's been interesting because for me for a while, I mean, we've had security clients for like 9 years as we've grown, even before video, but I feel like I haven't understood the industry as well as I have since the last 3 years. And along the way, there's a lot of influencers in the space too, who are either objective in their perspective, and then there's other people who are super convicted and they're like militating on behalf of all of the marketers out there that are disgruntled. I like the fact that you guys have a lot of optimism baked into what you're doing. It's not like the man is screwing us, like marketers unite, let's rally. You guys have just such a positive undertone.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why I'm glad that you're on the podcast, because there's a vibe that the space needs. Right. And I don't know whose personality that is. It sounds like it's both of your guys's, but you guys are both, you and John are both so optimistic. And it seems like you've cultivated that in the community.
Yeah, we have to. I mean, cyber marketers are stressed as it is. Why do we need to go out there and say your content sucks, your booth messaging sucks, and your brand look and feel looks the same, and you're doing terrible, and the CISOs hate you? Why do we need to do that? They already know that.
Let's not rub it in.
Right. And we created the community so they can escape that and find like-minded people that are having the same problems and maybe share ideas on how to be better. We really do believe we are pushing the industry forward, not just from a marketing perspective, sales, product, the practitioner, the vendor and the buyer relationship. That's literally what our community is doing, because if we all come together as marketers and do better, then that will ripple effect to other parts of the industry. So just like cybersecurity practitioners, I say marketers need capes too, because we are superheroes and we are fighting the same fight against the
sometimes
cyber
a
threats.
thankless superhero, right?
Exactly.
Like almost the Batman or Catwoman version of it, right? Where it's
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly. I think of that meme of like the marketer that's holding up the sales team, and then they're holding the trophy, but then the marketer's over there like struggling.
breaking their back like Atlas with a globe on his shoulder.
Yes.
That's the case. Yeah, we see that a lot too. And we feel like that sometimes too, where it's like, oh, wow. I was like, your brand search quadrupled since we've been doing the video, and now the sales team's closing more, but you can't perfectly attribute it because it's a branded search from an unknown. I was like, we're just glad we're a part of the conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah. And I think if the success is significant, obviously the context is there, right? You don't need that lead source field to tell you, oh, this came from this video.
How did you hear about it?
Right. Like, what did we start doing 6 months ago that created this crazy trend? Video. Yeah. So like, you don't need any attribution reports for that. Yeah. But if it isn't significant, that's when you start to like, people get the boxing gloves out. Like, no, that's mine. No, it's mine.
And it's different. It's such a mix. Like we have, privately owned businesses that are a couple million in revenue, like a manual penetration testing company, a really well-funded startup, right? That's like trying to double revenue year over year. And attribution seems to get more intense the closer you get to venture capital. Yeah. And private equity. Yeah. Even to the point where attribution probably even matters less for what we do with like our big clients like NVIDIA, Intel. And they know that it works, so just keep doing it. And it's not a ton of money to them. But once you go down and get closer to private equity and there's got to be ROI for everything, it's like, how are we going to build our own platform that does perfect attribution, especially in security when people are going to have privacy blockers? Yeah. And they know what to avoid. Yeah, and, absolutely. You can't gate everything anymore, right?
No, please ungate. Please get rid of the
Ungate it all. Error on the side of that, right?
Yes. I mean, most of the time it's like John Smith at ABC Company. I've seen those, and it comes in, and we get excited because we think it's ABC, the channel.
You just gave me an idea for me. Lead just in. John Smith, John Doe. Yeah.
Seriously. Oh, my gosh. 123 Main Street. Like, just stop. Just give them the damn white paper. We don't need you.
Yeah, and if they read and they find something valuable in there, they'll reach out, right?
Exactly.
There's a stat like that we surveyed. It was like maybe 300 security companies. 82% of the buyer journey happens before they ever reach out. Yeah. So it's like they want to do research. Yeah. Do your own research, like... Just let them do their thing. And then if they fill out the demo form, drive them down that path.
Absolutely. There's one good example of that. I think it was Recorded Future. They literally created their own media arm. It has nothing to do with Recorded Future from a brand perspective. A completely different, website, domain, and all of that. And it's all just cybersecurity news and content and thought leadership. And I think that that's brilliant. Yes, of course, they have these Easter eggs here and there that this is a recorded future, media arm.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's very independent and it's not salesy. And that worked really well for them.
Yeah.
We saw that example.
And I think their agency of record for a while was Chris over at Refine Labs.
Right.
And I don't know if he pushed him down that media route. He's obviously done a lot of founder-led himself, which is kind of interesting to see now that he's left Refine, moved to Beyond Pacetos, doing his own thing now, coaching or whatever. But like this concept of having founder-led be such a substantial part of the brand, to me, I think is a bit of a single point of failure. So as we grow our own, I'm like, I want all the department heads. It's not just you, it's Brianna, and it's other people, and you're communicating, they're advocating. Yeah. But I'm always a little nervous. I'm like, if it's just one person and something happens to them, God forbid, and all the attention is around them, what happens when they go away?
Exactly.
It's a hard transition. So maybe that's a good transition actually into what I was going to ask is, do you have a wish list for either the community or for podcast guests where you would just like fangirl out getting them on the show? Any big marketers, anyone in particular that you could think of that you've been either pursuing or maybe you got close to having, but scheduling's been tough?
Gosh, I want to say the CMO of CrowdStrike is one. In fact, we're trying to get her to speak at Cyber Marketing Con and keynote. So that's one of them, but you caught me off guard. There's definitely a few more.
She's like, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings by telling them. She's like, I'm going old school and get Rand Fishkin in. Go.
We had Rand Fishkin actually.
Oh, really?
It's so funny that you mentioned him.
Yeah.
Our first year doing this, and I just cold DM'd him and said, I'm doing a webinar. Do you want to come on? And he did.
That's incredible.
Way back when we were nothing. We probably had like 30 people in the group.
You fell into his basket of like, I got to do good and help somebody out.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. He was on, and what's his name? There's another one. Oh gosh, I definitely need more coffee. He runs the GTM group now, but he was head and CEO of the ABM company, and now of course I'm blanking on
Is
that.
Is he security focused?
Can you believe that?
Because some of the guys
Sangram, sorry.
Okay.
So Sangram also came on he came on our podcast, or probably did both podcast and webinar. And that to me, like back then was like, whoa, oh my God, I can't believe they're on with us.
That's pretty sweet.
And that was really cool. Learned a lot from him. So yeah.
Well, you're a part of our bucket list. We've been wanting to have you on. We got you on now. And then,
thank you.
And then tomorrow too, we have Danny Wolf coming on.
Awesome.
We spoke a few times, and I'm like, you are the one that is so strategic. You're getting him to do like buyer persona insights. I was like, those people lend perfectly to our audience, and we're kind of in talks of just like, how can we co-produce, how can we help one another out? But when you meet good people with good values that aren't just trying to create a bunch of FUD in the space, I'm like, let's sync up.
Totally.
And who knows, one day maybe there's like this mega agency that just like comes together like Transformers, because everyone has these disciplines. Like Danny's like the very beginning buyer research, and you have Sean with brand and web at Miscreants, us focus on video, maybe another agency does better distribution than we do. Then the whole community component too.
Exactly.
Right? So there's some really talented groups out there. And I don't want to say we're fighting against it, but you have these big box agencies that maybe have one landing page for cyber because they've worked with a few and they know cyber, but they're so good at selling. They're so good at schmoozing. They win the business and they churn, right? And then they come crawling back to, cybersecurity specific marketers, and then they want help. But we're hoping that we could continue to kind of grow and create more awareness that there are niche agencies focused in security.
Totally. So is this your unofficial offer to acquire us? What is this?
Merger of equals.
What am I here for? What's going on?
She's like, we're pre-monetization. Let me wait until we monetize, and that's going to up the value.
Yes. Let us become a little more expensive.
I have to imagine. Yeah, you guys should probably check your web traffic. You're going to see VCs hopping on your site. So, I mean, when you have attention, that's worth a lot, even before you monetize it.
Yeah.
And maybe there's a part of it where you guys are just so good at community and creativity where you don't need to think about that too hard. Maybe someone comes in and figures out how to productize it so well.
Yeah.
Right. But even for us, sometimes I'm like, I don't want to think about how much each video costs, pricing, point system. Like, I just want to create good video and have great conversations.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, since I'm a creative at heart, I would say still for sure. So that said, what does the rest of RSA look like for you?
I actually do leave tomorrow.
Okay.
I have to get back to the babies. But today we had our marketer lounge. We called it the marketer oasis. RSA was gracious enough to give us space on the third floor, massive space, in fact. So hopefully next year they'll give us the same space, but then also all week, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I was walking the show floor, and a lot of the marketers were like, thank you so much for the space upstairs. We had two massage people giving massages. Yeah, like a flat bed and then also the chair.
That's incredible.
We had these custom coloring books, which are hilarious. I can't wait for you to look at them. We had these like Zen sand gardens and these little fountains on the table. And it's just like a space, an escape where marketers can just get out of the craziness of the show floor and take a little bit of a break with coffee and pastries. So that was really cool today. And yeah, I mean, I guess for the rest today, there's a couple of events. I'm trying to support some of my old colleagues from NetSpy. They're doing their thing. And tomorrow I'm going to the Fierce Breakfast, which is a women in cybersecurity breakfast that 1011 Ventures puts out all the time. We love Megan so much at 1011. So we support her whenever we're here. And she supports us literally all the time. So we love her. And that's it. And then I'm off back to the grind and back to the family.
And you're in East Coast, right?
Connecticut, yeah.
Connecticut. So then the next time back out, somewhat in this area, is going to be Black Hat for you guys?
Black Hat, definitely. We don't know what we're doing yet, but we'll do something. It's most likely not going to be a party as big as the RSA one that we throw every year.
Okay.
And then we'll be doing some more regional meetups. We want to do one here in the Bay Area. We want to do something in the Midwest, possibly Chicago. Just waiting for the snow to clear. I don't know what's going on over there just yet.
God bless your heart for
probably
being able to
by
manage all
June or
that.
something. And yeah, and Cyber Marketing Con is the big one. So we're trying to
In Austin this year.
in Austin, Texas,
And you
December
planned it
7th to 10th.
on my daughter's birthday, which is perfect. I
Yes,
appreciate that.
because we really need you there.
Yeah, I really want to go this year.
We really need you there.
Yeah.
It'll be a good time. This is our second time doing it in Austin, and we had a blast last time we were there.
That's awesome.
We do an outing at every conference. So in Texas, last time we hired school buses, and they were picking up people in the loop from the hotel.
Oh, that's sweet.
And then we had two routes. Either you go to like a hoedown bar and get barbecue along the way, or you can get tacos and then go to this weird miniature golf thing that looks like it's
This
haunted.
was in Austin?
This
too?
was in Austin,
You got
Texas.
to like
yeah.
the Dirty Six out there?
I
and-
think so.
Yep.
I chose the hoedown and I went dancing. And last year in Philly, we went to the Museum of Illusions, and that was really cool. And then we also did Christmas Village. So we try to like do the on-conference stuff, you know?
That's what we need more of, honestly.
Exactly.
Nothing against the big conventions. I mean, but booth space isn't cheap. Companies that can't maybe afford booth space yet, they should do stuff like this. Like run out a media suite, get your prospects there, have longer form conversations, right? And do something with it. Yeah, it'd be really cool. And we'll just kind of put this out there. We're in the process of building out a mobile podcast fan.
Oh.
So think of like a Mercedes Sprinter, but the economic version, like a Dodge Ram version, but like 6 feet, 2 inches tall, nice and wide, 2 desks there. There's a screen behind it. And we have to live video, right? So we're going to hop to about 5 or 6 different states. I'll probably fly out to some of them because I don't want to drive a van out everywhere.
Yeah.
But have you seen the guy on Instagram that will come up, and not everyone's seen him, but he'll be like, hey, I really like your car. I wanted to know, what do you do for a living?
Oh, yeah.
And he starts asking all these questions. So we're going to kind of fake that to an extent. We're not going to just show up at someone's headquarters. Hey, CEO, come over here. But be like, hey, you guys have a podcast, but you guys are growing, and it'd be awesome to have you on, or maybe get 2 of your executives on. And my wife's like, you're just trying to live some like, fantasy, or you're on the road all the time. I was like, I'll go every once in a while, but
Maybe.
I was like, that would be really cool. Maybe we could ride that up over to Austin, because that's
Yeah.
not too. I'd say that's the furthest extent we would drive the van.
That could be a really cool,
Yeah.
even a regional meetup. That could be cool.
Yeah,
Right? Meet us
totally.
at the next one.
Yeah.
And you can get marketers and you can interview them.
Yeah, that'd be
Keep me
sweet.
posted on where you are with that, and then we can
The whereabouts.
coordinate.
I'll like I always tell my wife, like we have the Life 360 app. I'll
Yeah.
just drop a pin, you'll see the van.
Yeah.
Follow us along. I was like vlog style, and then Eric's following me around. I have to be like, am I hot mic'd right now?
Love
Yeah,
it. Just serve
yeah.
sangria and I'm there. Or
Awesome.
a good mezcal margarita and I'm there.
Maybe that's next after this. We'll see. Well, that said, yeah, thank you for joining us on this relatively new series of Off the Script, where we kind of peel back the layers of who's behind the brand here at the end of the day. So it's been a pleasure. Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.